robust urban garlic flavor.
When my now wife Kat moved in with me over 2 years ago, I said I'm basically not going to be playing these games with any kind of major time investment or money investment anymore. At that point, I couldn't do money investment anyway. I was broke. But basically, I was like, they can't do this anymore. And I made a commitment to her that I was not going to play mobile games a ton anymore. I say every once in a while, maybe you'll see me pick up the phone and play it or whatever. But that'll be it. Okay? It's going to be a casual thing to kill time. I want to spend time with my family. All right? And admittedly, I'll even say this, admittedly, in the past, there may have been issues in my personal life because I played too many mobile games. And I know people will say, oh my God, we got to blow this up and talk about it all over the internet. It's true. I played them too much in the past, all right?
This 220 emergency is brought to you by Pig Dash, where you can get all your food for your piggy needs.
Hey everyone, so here's the deal. I went on break. Usually when I go on break at this time, my wife is getting home from work. We go on a walk. We order if we're going to have food or whatever. She's not home. And I don't know what's going on because I'm almost positive she was supposed to get out around 2, which means she's usually home by 2:30 at the latest. So I went on this break specifically thinking, oh, I'm late going to break. She'll be home, and she's not. So all I can do is wait. And what I'm going to do is we'll play. And hopefully she gets home. What I'm thinking is she's probably on the way home, driving home. We've been having a lot of rain recently, a lot of flooding. And down near where she I almost said lives. Down where she works, I think there may have been some flooding recently. So maybe there's just massive traffic. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know. Okay? So I guess we'll see. I'm waiting to hear because the thing is, we're supposed to do DSP Tries It today. I can't order the food until she's home and okay, So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I just got to wait. Hopefully she's all right. I've texted her. She didn't respond yet, but that probably means that she's driving. Sucks because obviously I'd like to get another hour of gameplay in, but I don't know what's going to happen now because I don't know where she is.
Yup. Phil immediately assumes the worst, that Kat is either dead or used this flooding as an excuse to disappear from him. And he's letting us know without waiting another 15 minutes and see if she'll get back to him or not.
I know. Her health is way more important than the stream, obviously. So, yeah, I just saw there was an alert, and it says that there's been mass flooding in certain parts of where near we live. We actually live at a very high elevation, at the very top of a giant hill. So when it floods and stuff around here, it doesn't affect us personally.
Is he going to start pig-splaining rain going downhill?
But if my wife had to drive down to where she works, and there was flooding down there very well could be detours. There could be massive traffic. I saw an alert that there was some kind of a bridge or something that's out somewhere.
There could be a fallen tree branch or a tree on the road which prevents you crossing it. All these things could be possible, Phil, but you're supposed to put on a happy face and keep doing the stream, not derail your own stream because you can't wait an extra 15 minutes to see if your wife will come home.
So that could be what's going on. I don't know, but obviously it worries me, and I hope she's all right, but all I can do is sit here and wait. So like I said, we could continue to play.
Hey, Phil, you sitting there worrying yourself into a panic attack about the fate of your wife is not a good idea for anybody. You should just play the game and wait because it would take your mind off of things. You can go back to begging for money. That will get your head totally away from worrying. Seriously, actually.
But I might be interrupted. If she gets home, I got to take a break so we can go order the food and make sure she's all right and everything.
Yeah, life happens, Phil.
It's a rarity when this happens. Like, almost never does she not arrive home at the usual time for her shift. So,
hey, Phil, maybe her personal time with Tyrone just happened to run a little late today. Life happens. Good times happen. Go do some good things, Phil. Stop spending all your days staring at the blank abyss of your streaming studio.
I gotta think that it's some kind of a weird extenuating circumstance. Maybe there was like a bad car accident and she's stuck in traffic trying to get past the accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Phil is one of those people that require an immediate response. He hasn't learned that life happens and the world doesn't revolve around him, and people can't get back to you immediately all the time. If you're glued to your phone, it's going to hinder you tremendously.
And I texted her and she didn't text back, which means she's definitely driving. Like, she would text me back unless she was in the car. She's not going to text back when she's in the middle of driving, you see?
You see, he knows, because even when she's with Tyrone, she texts back immediately. Doesn't matter what she's doing at that particular moment, her phone is always right beside her or in her hand.
So probably she's stuck in bad traffic would be my guess. But yeah, it does worry me because, like I said, this is a rarity that this would happen. So
Yeah, Phil's a control freak, so this situation where there's nothing he can do really drives him batty. It's the same thing with the wings streaming with him. He can't get wings on his stream because he can't command him to do so. And that really irritates Phil. It gets right under there in his skin. Da-da-da-da, saddest 3-word poem. Gary, come on! You know what the saddest? I wrote my saddest 3-word poem. Yeah, 3 come on. My bunny, saddest 3-word poem.
I feel like I know what's going to happen. We're going to boot the game up, play for 5 minutes, and she's going to get home, and then I have to pause and, you know, go see that she's okay, and then order food and everything, and it's going to suck. You know?
You know why? Because he records the gameplay on OBS and then posts it immediately on YouTube. So in his 220 mind, he thinks, oh, I can't have 5 minutes of gameplay put up there. I need to actually go into the editing software, put those 2 clips together and render it. And you know he doesn't want to wait for that.
We got an achievement today. Get all of Esquia's abilities. We got the dive ability, yeah.
And you can tell he absolutely does not care about that.
Yeah, the traffic all depends, you know. Like I said, this alert that I saw, the alert is like, yeah, because of the flooding, certain bridges are out and stuff, and that makes me think, man, there's probably going to be, like, massive traffic over there. I don't know. What do you guys think we should do? Should we just hang out? Because I feel like if we start playing again, we're going to get interrupted right away, you know?
Wow, he really does not want to render 2 game clips together. How pathetic. He would rather sit here and have a panic session. Sounds good. You know, Phil, you're supposed to make your audience feel better, not worse.
Sucks. We didn't get to play that much. We only played 2 hours, right? We played 1 hour, which was unlocking all of the side missions, and then we started doing a dungeon, and now we're stuck. There was a Mega Bonk update, was there? Exactly, and there's nothing I can do. Like you're saying, make sure she's okay before you start streaming the game again. I know, but there's nothing I can do. I just got to wait for a response or wait for her to arrive home. There's nothing. I have no control over it.
Oh my 220, his audience is so dumb. You can't call anybody if somebody's been missing for 10 minutes. That's not how it works. It's most likely that the roads were flooded or in danger of flooding and it took a longer time to get home than usual. Occam's razor. And that's what happens. Yet here we are, Phil getting his fans into a complete panic because he thinks Kat is dead. He's going straight to the worst possible outcome. He can yell and scream and cry and call Kat 50 times. If she's not picking up, she's not picking up. There's nothing he can do. So instead, they're just going to have a pity panic session right here. And you know Phil's going to milk it for money because that's what he always does.
Sucks. It's a life. As you get older, here's what you realize. Life is most stressful when there's something you can't control and it affects you directly. You know?
And you know how Phil copes with that? Because that happens to him every single day. He makes it so his fans essentially are his ATMs. He pulls them in and he ensnares them in his net and he never lets them go. It is their responsibility to pay Phil's bills forever and get nothing in return or get the minimal amount of effort in return for his greed.
If there's something that you can affect, you can improve, you can control, that's good. But when it's something that's completely out of your control and then you just don't know what's going on or you don't know how to fix it or to help it, that's the worst. That's what I've found as I get older. You know, there are obviously things I can change for the better, things I can control, and there's some things I just can't. And this is, a situation. There's nothing I can do right now. I'm stuck. I have no clue what's going on.
The only thing you can do is change what you can change. Otherwise, it's not worth worrying about. Phil does not understand this lesson, and the older he gets, the less things he can control. His grasp on things are diminishing. Like, can you imagine Phil trying to control every single little thing his wife does? If that's the case, she's probably been driven mad.
So I apologize, guys. I know I was having fun with the game, but it looks like we may have to just hold off. And I mean, I will have to order food, and we'll have to wait for it to arrive, so we will still be able to play more. It's just, I don't see the point in booting it up if at any moment she could arrive home where I could get a text from her and I need to respond, you know?
Yeah, once again, Phil will do anything to avoid rendering videos or editing whatsoever. He's so lazy that he can't even put one OBS clip that was recorded, put another OBS clip that was recorded, and hit render. Like, he edits thumbnails, but this stuff, it's just too hard for him. And you know, his thumbnails are also terrible. And also, he would probably have a 5-minute talking segment where he would tell people, hey, I had to cut the video because X, Y, and Z, and then nobody would care. But to be fair, the effort put into just putting those clips together is more than the actual views that would be accumulated from that video, because his videos on demand are garbage, and he doesn't understand that nobody wants raw gameplay.
Sucks, of course. Now I gotta be all stressed out over this, which I'm sure it's no big deal. I'm absolutely sure it's not gonna be like a cause for concern or anything. But obviously, there's always the worry that you have, you know what I mean? No matter what, you're gonna feel, oh man, I hope she's all right, and it sucks.
Well, when you put it that way, you make it sound like you're an idiot or saddled with extreme anxiety and detachment issues, or you're trying to milk this for pity as much as you can because you want to avoid playing games at all costs.
Let's take a look here. The other thing is, maybe she just had to work later today and she didn't tell me. She forgot to tell me. That easily could be it too. I don't know. So, checking on the collector's edition game that I'm supposed to get today. Still out for delivery since 9 a.m. Still not here. Was originally supposed to be here by 12:45, and all they did is update it and said, oh, you'll get it by the end of the day. Do you see why I told you guys I didn't want to plan on anything or schedule anything for this thing? Because the fact that they're treating it like this, and they've treated it like this the whole time, too. Like, 100% they've treated it like not a priority for them. Like I said, they literally lost this thing for 3 days. Said there was a mechanical error, and then all of a sudden they said, oh, it was en route again. So, it's obviously they don't really care.
Yeah, we are right back to the type of stuff Phil wants to do on stream, complaining about deliveries. You thought he was all about gaming? No, it's DSP begging and complaining.
Can I check Google Maps traffic? Sure, you want to know? There's traffic. There's always this time of day, this time of year, and now there's flooding, there's traffic. Like, there's nothing I need to check. It's just going to say there's traffic.
Yeah, we have too many cars on the roads and not enough public transportation options because of the automobile industry and the airplane industry. So we're all here miserable sitting in traffic instead of having high-speed rail.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's the sound 99.999% of the people on the planet feel when they tune into a DSP stream.
Well, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm not going to turn the lighting on just in case I have to turn it off again to play, but what do you guys want to talk about? We'll chat for a little bit since we just have time to kill.
Yeah, this is a guy who says he has so many games to play, yet an opportunity here presents itself where he can beta test something for like 20-30 minutes, but he won't do so because he's not creative enough. Yeah, what was this stream? Clair Obscur, Phil, and here you were serving a random cope session.
Oh, yeah, we have no threats of tsunami or anything like that. Pringles fan says, I lived in Aberdeen, Washington for a few years. I was always shook about the threat of a tsunami, but I know that's not the case here. No, I am far from the water, and at an elevation. So it's like two reasons why we would never be affected by something like that in any major way.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest, all you need to worry about is rain, or, you know, like the 1 in 100 year volcanic event.
Put on some de-stressing background music. There you go. Good suggestion. There you go. De-stressing background music.
Yeah, and this is where I will dip because I'm not interested in his dumb background music.
Why am I worried? Because literally this never happens. Like literally, my wife is always home on time.
Yeah, Kat's not out seeking DoorDash with anybody else. She only comes for me.
Or if there's going to be a reason why she can't be home on time, she usually tells me. She'll text me or call and be like, hey, I have to stay late, or hey, there's something going on, and I got nothing. You know, I texted her and she's not responding, which leads me to believe she is driving, but maybe there's like massive traffic or an accident or something. No, if she's not texting me back, calling her won't do anything. She's not going to answer the phone. Jasper, I know, buddy. Jasper's here with me. He's nervous too. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just as nervous as me because this never happens. He knows it's like clockwork. She's on time, and you know, he says hello to her. He brushes the door when she gets home from work and everything. What's my favorite kind of soup? Probably minestrone. I like minestrone because it's tomato based, but it also has beans, pasta. It's got good things and veggies, lots of veggies. That's probably my favorite soup.
It's pronounced minestrone, Phil.
I want peanuts.
What was the better interview and or appearance? The interview that I did with Keemstar or the interview that I did with Stuttering Craig? If you ask me, the Keemstar interview was like 50 times better than the Stuttering Craig interview.
Yeah, you see, Keemstar kissed his butt and sucked up to him because he wanted to deal with duty streams taking 40-minute long segments, unedited, no commentary of Locale Live.
Only because with the Keemstar interview, we were cordial with each other, we were respectful with each other, we actually talked about some things in a very calm manner. We didn't go at each other, and it ended up being a fun experience overall, where at the end of the day we didn't want to murder each other, right?
You know, the funny thing about this clip itself is that Keemstar was on the Side-Scrollers interview, Phil, too, and he was berating him as well.
The Craig interview was so pathetic because literally it was just the guy completely refusing to admit he did anything wrong when he gets called out 17 times in a row for what he did wrong.
Phil, this is you. You were talking about yourself. Yes, Craig has done a lot of unethical things too, but the stuff he was given to by the detractors, he just went with. Of course he did it because he wanted their money, but it's really the detractors' stuff, not his stuff.
And he did, but you lied about WWE champions. What the f*** is your point? You don't have one.
Yeah, that nervous laugh tells you all you need to know. He knows what he did was wrong. He lied to his fans for years. He got his fans to give him money, thinking that he was destitute, but he was blowing it all on garbage mobile game Candy Crush.
You agreed to have me on your show to do an interview. The agreement was not that I have to answer all of your questions absolutely God's honest correctly or truthfully. All I did was agree to an interview.
So you're just saying it's okay to blatantly lie about misleading your fans? That's what it sounds like to me, Phil. People usually want the truth.
And then after that, you said I could come on your show as a regular guest like everyone else always had and had a good time.
You got so butthurt that they did an after show trying to process what happened because you just throw so many things at the wall that it gets confusing. And you thought that you should have been invited on for that too. Phil, that makes no sense. The athletes don't go on and run the post-game show, Phil. That's for the announcers to do. You are the talent, not the commentator. But again, he wants to control every single narrative about him, and in that case, he couldn't do so.
You immediately reneged on your agreement. You are a liar, you're a snake, you're a backstabbing scoundrel. It's that simple. There's nothing else about it. And he basically would never get off the fact, well, you lied about a mobile game. So what?
I go back to the nervous Mickey Mouse laugh 2 minutes ago. Phil, you conned your audience. You misled them. You gaslit them. You extorted money from them based out of pity and lies.
Who gives a f*** if I lied about a mobile game? What if every word out of my mouth was a lie during the interview? You still did your interview for free, which is what we agreed to. But he doesn't understand that because he's a stunts.
Hey Phil, here's the thing. You based your streams around the drama of your personal finances. Your personal finances were nobody's business until you made them everybody's business. That's why this lie about a mobile game is a huge issue, because you lied to your fans about needing money, yet you were dumping tens of thousands, hundreds of $1,000s into this stupid gotcha mobile game. You scammed your fans who were dumb enough to believe it, Phil. That's the reality.
And he wanted a big payday and big notoriety on the internet for the appearance.
Yeah, Phil, that's why people post videos to YouTube. They aren't doing it so their dog can watch it. So can it with your holier than thou. Anybody who wants views is bad.
So, when I have him on the show, it's this big, angry argument. He won't do nothing. He won't be cordial. You know, he's just a jerk. Just a jerk. So that's what I mean. Like, that interview, I didn't really like as much. I wish it had gone differently. I wish I could have had like a breakthrough with the guy.
I wish he would have agreed with everything I said, and that he would believe every single lie that came out of my mouth like Asmongold eventually did. Too bad, Phil, you got held to task for once in your life.
Let him understand that he was being a disingenuous piece of shit. But you can't have a breakthrough with someone who doesn't have morality or a conscience. He doesn't.
And neither does Phil, but Phil will never realize that because the villain always thinks he's the hero.
I mean, this is a guy who literally time and time again started a business, ran it into the ground, sold it off, and screwed off everyone involved with it. He did it with Screw Attack. He did it with that second business. He's done it again and again. I wouldn't be shocked if he does it with his current show right now, that he runs it into the ground, sells it off to try to make money again. He's a track record of being this kind of a snake oil guy. You know what I mean? This slimy dude. So
you knew all of that, yet you wanted to collab with him in the first place because... But hey, this is the dum-dum who thought working with Kino Casino was going to revitalize his career.
Not shocked that it happened. I just didn't realize that about that guy until after the fact. But again...
Yeah, Phil, we can see right through you. We know you're coping here and you're just trying to cover your tracks for all the people dumb enough to still believe that you are not a disingenuous scammer.
I want to do content that's more positive and meaningful, that builds bridges, that has meaningful conversation. Then when people tune in and watch, they're like, oh, that was interesting. I learned something, or... you know, I got something meaningful out of it.
Yeah, well, to do that, Phil, you have to do your research. You have to be knowledgeable about the content you are making, and more likely than not, you have to edit your stuff. All three things you refuse to do. So what you really want to do is just play video games online and demand money, and use the video games as cover for, oh, I provide you with something, so give me a ton of money for it.
Not, oh, I saw two guys who yelled at each other the entire conversation, and they looked like two immature dicks. You know, I don't get satisfaction out of that, to be honest. I don't really feel like I got anything out of the Stuttering Craig interview at all. I think it was a waste of time.
It was actually much worse than that. You had to pull out all these stops to convince your fans that everything Craig and his cohort presented from the detractors was an absolute lie. You were practically sobbing when Keemstar came in.
As opposed, again, to the Keemstar interview, I think that was a complete constructive piece of content. That one actually helped the internet in a lot of ways. People looked at Keemstar in a different light, and me in a different light. That was a good thing. That's the kind of content that we need. Not people just trying to rip each other's faces off. And that's what it seems like everyone wants me to be involved in, and I don't want to be involved in it. I could have done that. That's what they wanted me to do with the dumb that Kino Casino was coming up with. That was just brain dead stupid shit that I refused to do.
Yeah, let me translate that. The Keemstar DSP interview, if you want to call it that, did not help anybody, did not give anybody a better understanding about Phil or Keemstar, or made anybody see either of them in a different light. It was absolutely boring, and Phil didn't get exposed for anything. So that's why Phil thinks it's a great piece of content, because it absolutely is not the reality. Phil hates anything that exposes him as a toxic person and a scammer. That's all it is. Alright, everybody, be sure to like and subscribe on your way out. This is Robust turning off the station. Have a wonderful evening.
Robust content. That's right. It is robust.
My latest 3-word poem.
Catherine come home?
I almost said lives down where she works.
Wait! Whoa!
What?
Whoa!
What?
He slipped up! He slipped up! Cat doesn't live with him anymore! Cat's gone! Cat doesn't live with him anymore! Freudian slip alert!
Homie, it's
Freudian
over.
slip alert! She's at the Bull's house! Oh, no, Phil! No! It ain't so,